Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to take you on the topic latitude and longitude. Consider subscribing to my channel so that you don't miss anything coming out if this is your first time of viewing. Okay, now latitude and longitude, they are just like brothers and sisters. They're a very important term when it comes to mathematics. Okay, and you have to understand these concepts, latitude and longitude, using the earth, because that is where you get it. Now the earth is a sphere, so if I make a diagram like this, now this is just the earth, where here is the north pole, here is the south, here is the west, and here is the east. Okay, now these lines that runs from the west to east, these lines that are parallel to each other that runs from the west to east is known as lines of latitude. The lines of latitude. So lines of latitude are just imaginary lines on the earth surface running from the west to east. And because this latitude is running from west to east, they are measured either, look at it, west to east, that is the line here. You can measure them either north or what? South. So latitudes can be measured north and south. That is why you normally see latitude 60 degrees north, 80 degrees north, 75 south, 40 south. These are latitudes. Okay, so latitudes are measured either to the north or to the south, depending on where they are located. So the one thing you need to know here is that latitude are just imaginary lines drawn on the earth's surface, which runs from the west to the east of the earth. And because they run from west to east, they are measured either north or what? South. And these degrees this is the equator. Equator forms the highest radius. It has the highest radius. That is why it is the greatest circle. So this is where you have your equator, which is the great circle, the highest radius, the radius of the earth. Other latitudes here, I can form another one here if I want. I can draw another circle here. So other points running from either south or north, which are not on the center where you form the equator, they are all small circles. So this is a small circle because the radius is smaller than the radius of the earth or the radius of equator. This is also a small circle, okay, because the radius is too small compared to the radius of this. So this is your equator. This is the prime meridian dividing the earth into the left and the right. Okay, now I've told you what the latitude is all about. A line running from the west to east of the earth, and it is measured north or south. Okay, now the here is at 90 degrees. Here is also 90 degrees, the extreme point. So you can measure starting from here, which is 0 degrees. You can have something like 10, 20, 30, 40, etc. till you get to 90. This is the same thing applies here, 10, 20, 40, 50, 60 till you get to 90. So that is why you cannot have any latitude more than 90 degrees, okay, or even less than 0. So the latitude can start from 0 to 90 degrees, measured north or south of the earth surface, while the longitude is the reverse of the latitude. The latitude runs from west to east, while the longitude will run from north to south. Okay, the longitude runs from north to south, and because they run from north to south, you measure them either west or east of the earth's surface. I repeat again that the longitude are just imaginary lines on the earth's surface running from the north to the south. And because the longitude runs from north to south, they are measured either to the east or to the west. Okay, so you can measure them to the east or to the west. And because you can measure them to the east or the west, this is also at 0. So you can have something like 10, 20, 40, 60 until you get to the extreme where you have up to 180 degrees. Unlike the latitude that ends at 90, here is also at 180 degrees, the extreme point starting from 0, the origin. So you can have 10, 20, 30, 40 to 180. The same thing applies here. So this is just the distinction between the latitude and longitude. One thing is that longitude runs from west to east, and because it runs from west to east, it is measured north and pole. The highest degrees you can get there is 90 degrees either to the north or to the south, unlike the longitude that runs from north to south. measured east to west, which you can have up to 180 degrees either to the west or to the south from the origin. Now, I think I've given you a strong foundation of what you need to know about this latitude and longitude. Okay, at this point, let us locate the following point. From what we've learned, let us now use it to locate the following point on the Earth surface. Okay, so this is the Earth, very beautiful. Here is always the South Pole. Here is North. We have our the West and the East. This is the Great Circle, the equator. Okay, now like I told you, here is always at 0 degrees. For the latitude, we go from here to 90. From here also 0 to 90, but this is 0 to 180 because you can go round it to 180. So 0, as you are moving around it, you are getting, let's say here is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 till 180. The same thing goes on here. So to locate the first point, which is A, is at latitude of 60 degrees north and 45 degrees east. So let us locate the 45 degrees east. Okay, now this is at 0 degrees and this side is our east. 45 degrees means, look at where you start. So start from here. This is at 0, you can have 10, 20, etc. So let's assume that this is the 45 degrees, this particular line here. Not just this point. This line is our 45 degrees till this place, 45 degrees. So I can say here is 45 degrees east, but the latitude is 60 degrees north. Okay, now north is up here, 60 degrees. Let me assume that this is at 0. Then something like here can be at 60, at 60 before you get to 90 degrees. Or I can assume that, okay, let's say here is 80, here is 60. So if this line here is the 60 degrees for our latitude, okay, so 60 degrees, let's say here. Now there is an intersection. This particular 60 degrees intersected here, all right, because this is 45. All this line is my 45, while this one is my 60 degrees north. Okay, so both of them, this line here, which is 45 degrees, has intersected with this line, the latitude of 60 degrees. So because this is at 60 degrees, I can say 60 degrees north. Now this point of intersection will give us the point we are talking about, which is point A. So this is where point A will be. Okay, latitude 60 degrees and longitude 45 degrees. The point of intersection gives you the result. Then we have point B, which is 120 degrees west and 80 degrees north. Now 80 north, 80 is higher than 60. So if here is 60, let me consider here to be 80 degrees north, while the longitude is 120 degrees west. So 120 degrees west is somewhere here. Let's say this is the center 0. You can have 10, 20, 30, 120. So let me assume that the 120 is somewhere here in the west. Okay, so 80 is this line here, while this is our 120 degrees west, and the point of intersection. So if here is the 120 degrees west, they have intersected here, the 80 and the 120, which is this point, and the other side. In the other side, they intersected here. So this is now point B. If I want to locate point C, which is 30 degrees east and 75 degrees south, south means we are coming down. So 30 degrees east is somewhere here too. Okay, if this is 45, let me consider here to be my 30 degrees east. 30 degrees east. Now this is 75 south, 75 degrees south. So let's say here is 75 degrees south, 75 degrees south. Okay, down here, this is the latitude. So now this longitude, which is at 30, intersected this one. Okay, this is the 30 degrees. Okay, look at the line, intersected the 70 degrees at this particular point, because everything here is the 70, while this is the 30 degrees. So this point of intersection can be called our point C. That is how to locate points on the Earth surface. So you see I've located A, B, and C. So lastly, let's locate point D. Point D is 100 degrees west and 40 degrees south. Okay, so I called here 70 degrees south and 40 degrees south. Let me change this 40 and also make it to be at 70, because if it should be 40, it means I should have something lower than 70 up here, because 70 is down here. So let's assume it's still in the same latitude with point C. Okay, okay, 70. Okay, this is even 70, so they are 70 degrees. All right, 70. I made a mistake. It can be anything, you can call it anything. So let's work with the 70 degrees south and 100 degrees west. Okay, now this is still 70 degrees south, the same point. Now 100 west means, look at it here, it has gone 10, 20, maybe 100. You know, this is the highest you can go is 180 for the longitude. So let's assume that this is the 100 degrees here, this point. And you know that this line is the latitude of 70 degrees, while this is the longitude of 100 degrees, and both of them met here. So this line, I call this line my 100 degrees west. So this line intersected with this line at this particular point. So this will now be my point D. So this is how to locate points on the Earth surface. If you've enjoyed what you've watched, kindly subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything, because in my next video I'm going to work with angular distance between 2 points and also the ground distance between 2 points on the Earth surface. Thank you so much for your audience.